In today's video, I'll be ranking every single weapon in Roblox Islands, so let's get started. Okay, so first, the Aquamarine Sword. Okay, so the base damage for this is 18, and it can damage multiple mobs in one swing. So I would say it's okay. Okay, next up we have the artifact bow. Okay, so I really hate bows, and probably a lot of people do too, but the attack damage of this thing is like 42 to 66, which is pretty high, but I still like the mechanics for bows in islands just suck, man. I would just put it in bad. Next up, I'm pretty sure this is like the basic bow. This sucks too. Okay, next up, the Cactus Spike. So here's the thing about this weapon. It's really easy to craft, but it's really hard to get the blueprint. I mean, I don't know, I never got it, but it seems hard. I would put it on okay. I'll put that there. Next up is the Cutlass. It's basically the same with Aquamarine, so I'll just put it on okay. Next up, we got the Diamond Greatsword. Now this is pretty interesting because the critical on this thing is 42, and it's a light melee, so a lot of people's light melees are pretty high in a level perspective, but the base is only 28, and it is very expensive. It costs 10 enchanted diamonds and 80 diamonds, which is pretty expensive. I would put it in bad. Probably a lot of people would be mad, but I don't think it's too worth it. Okay, so we got the Diamond Warhammer. Now this is pretty interesting because it's the same recipe with the Diamond Sword, but it does more attack damage, but it is also slower. Still, I don't know if 10 enchanted diamonds are like worth it, so I would put it on bad. Now next up, we got the Gilded Steel Hammer. Now I would put this in great because one, it has like great knockback, and it does pretty good amount of damage, and you just need one buff crystal, 5 gilded steel rods, and 40 gold, which is not too bad for a pretty strong weapon. So I would put it on great. Now next up, we got bad. Okay, so the Iron War Axe. Yeah, this is pretty bad too. Next up, we have the Kong Axe. Now this is pretty similar to the Gilded Steel one, but it does less damage, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it does less damage, but it looks cool and it's a limited, so I would put it as okay. Okay, next up we got the Obsidian Sword. Okay, so if you watched my Obsidian Sword review video, I said that it was very bad. But if you think about it, like noobs who just started islands can get this sword in like 2 days minimum, which is so awesome, and it does 24 base damage, so I would put it in okay. Okay, next up, Rage Blade is horrible. If this wasn't nerfed, I would put it as godly, but bro, they nerfed it so hard, like it sucks right now. It is like super bad. I will put it right over here. Okay, we got the Ruby Staff. This is like one of my favorite weapons. I would put it as godly because one, you can AFK grind really well because it heals you, and it deals a lot of damage. I mean, it is very expensive, but still, it's really worth it. So I would say that it goes to a godly. Okay, so we got the normal spell book, like the strongest magic weapon that you can get. Like this weapon is really good for noobs, so I would put it as great. Okay, now we got the Staff of Godzilla. Now this doesn't really do a lot of base damage. Before it did the same amount of the Tidal, but they nerfed it. But again, it's limited and it's really cool, so I would put it as okay. Now the Static Scepter, we'll just delete this. It like sucks so badly. Number one, it lags not only you, the entire server, and it does so little damage for its value. In order to get this item, you would need to grind for hours and hours, even days to get this item. So for that to have like a weak and laggy weapon in the game, for now I would put it in delete. Okay, the Stone Sword, I wouldn't put it as delete because it's a very essential weapon for noobs who just started off, so I would put it as bad. Okay, next up we got the Captain Rapier. Now this weapon is pretty interesting because it doesn't do too much damage, which is 30, but swings pretty fast. And your mob drops actually increase if you kill something with this item. And I think it's the best looking weapon, so I would say it would go to Godly. Okay, next up we got the Dragon Slayer. Okay, so the Dragon Slayer is pretty good. Like, it does quite a lot of damage, but I would put it as great. But as a heavy, like, this is a really good item, and you don't really need combat XP to get this specifically. So yeah, I would put it as great. It's not godly though, but it's really up there. Okay, next up we got the Tidal Spellbook. Now you can deal AoE damage with this, which is pretty great. Yeah, I would put it in great. It's really a great item, and you can buy this in like shops for very cheap, and it doesn't really have a lot of special abilities other than the AoE. So I would put it in great, but don't get me wrong, like, this is like one of the best weapons out there. Okay, we got the Vampo. Delete this. No, I would put it in bad. I would put it in bad because, one, you can heal yourself, which is really good, but it's pretty hard to get it, so I would put it as bad. Next up, and the final weapon that we have is the Wooden Sword. I'll put this in delete. Like, bro, like, you don't really need a wooden sword now. Like, you have the stone sword. The stone sword costs you like 40 stone and 10 wood, which is not too bad. Like, you can get that like ASAP, and the stone sword will deal much more damage than the wooden one. So like, if you're lazy, I guess you can go with the wooden sword, but I mean, I don't know, if you're gonna start like a new island or a new co-op, I think going with the stone sword is the best as your first weapon. But yeah, this is my tier list. Make sure to comment down below if you disagree or if you agree. I think this is a pretty fair one. I don't know, but again, comment down below your thoughts in the comment section down below. But this was Noob Plays with Mac. Subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, make sure to cop my merch, and goodbye.